What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Savage Land. Welcome to another episode of SOAPBOX. Pretty much my commentary channel. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Savage Land. Welcome to another episode of SOAPBOX. Pretty much my comedy show. Jesus Christ. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Savage Land. Welcome to another episode of SOAPBOX. Pretty much my weekly show where I just do a little commentary and pretty much just run my mouth. We got 3 segments here if you've never been before. Community, pretty much what's going on in YouTube community, action figure world community, also hot topics or rants, and toy news, and I try to find some type of clearance. Maybe figures you don't care about, but somebody's out there looking for cheap or just a little bit off. So let's jump right into it. And Wear Testers is a sneaker channel. If you don't know, if you've seen on SOAPBOX, I also put a little bit of sneaker commentary up here on just a little blip because I'm in the shoes. Not like that, but I've always been in the shoes. I'm a 90s kid. I'm a sneaker addict. So basically, the Air Force One Spider-Man Miles Morales, I believe it's called Chapter 2, came out. Shoes okay. I think the first ones looked a little bit better, but it's like a $200 or something shoe. I don't even know why I even mentioned it on here because the hype is out of this world. But if you're interested in that, Nike has came out with a Jordan 1 for the Spider-Man 2 sneaker. Up next, we got my man Clout Cancun. Clout Cancun does pretty much hip-hop documentaries, just telling the backdrops of when albums came out and just different things of just back in the day hip-hop, things from the past. Kind of really nothing recent. Fairly young man. I just seen he graduated from college on his channel, man, and that's awesome. But what he did this week was rappers and video games. And 2 of the games that he mentioned, because rappers do a lot of voiceovers. I've heard Ice Cube voice in Call of Duty before. I can't play Call of Duty. I could never play 007 GoldenEye because it gives me a vertigo. I have some type of motion sickness. So I could never do those, I guess you'd call it first player type games. But the 2 that he mentioned was Def Jam Fight for New York, which I played that before. And those games actually had good play on them. And they had a bunch of rappers on there. Guys who pretty much was affiliated with Def Jam, Ludacris, Wu-Tang, Snoop Dogg was on one. And just, it had a list went Fat Joe, so forth and so on. Method Man, Redman. And it was actually a pretty cool game, and it brought back memories when he mentioned that. Also, another game that he brought up was the Wu-Tang game. Now, the Wu-Tang game came out like 1999. It was on first PlayStation. And it pretty much started all those like kind of pop culture fight 'em up, beat 'em up games. And it had great gameplay, but the way the character looked sucked, and none of them imaged any of the Wu-Tang. It was all kind of generic characters fighting. But the gameplay and how you fought on there was actually pretty dope. It had pretty good gameplay to it. I actually kind of still remember like the song. It was like Woo World Order, Woo World Order, bam, boom, boom, Woo World Order. Hell, it was pretty dope, man. That reminded me of my high school days right there. Also, I watched a guy called Top Hat Gaming Man. He pretty much just does like little documentaries on fighting games like Street Fighter. I like to watch his Marvel vs. Capcom one. And that's what he did this week. He dropped a video like that before, but I think it was a couple of years ago, and he probably did another refined video. But pretty much showing how Marvel vs. Capcom came from the arcade to the different game systems like Dreamcast and PlayStation, maybe 1. Marvel vs. Capcom was on. I think PlayStation 1 maybe caught that. But of course PlayStation 2 with Marvel vs. Capcom 2. But he does great documentaries. It's Top Hat Gaming Man. Alright, up next we're going to go into a slew of pictures that I've been meaning to put up for the past couple of weeks, but they just kind of got put on the back burner because I had so much other stuff to talk about on community. I just like put them on the back burner because they're pictures. They're always going to be good pictures if they're good pictures. And first up is, of course, you know, Ferry the Workaholic, who's a resident on this show. He has this chocolatey covered Storm Shadow that he did. Looks pretty good, man. It's got a lot of detail with the skin. The skin came out great. Like I said, I love an African American action figure, and if you do it right, like how he did, it's just that white suit popping off that chocolate skin, man. It looks really good, and that's a great little off offbeat thing, I wouldn't mind having something commissioned for him for that, because that's actually pretty dope. I might hit him up and see if he'll do one for me, because I have like 5 white storm shadows. So I don't know, maybe we can make that happen. We'll see what's up. I'm gonna get Ferry, see if he can do something for me one day, and we put it on the show. And also, Ferry also did the version 2 Storm Shadow. Now the crazy part about this is I had an episode last week where I was asking guys what G.I. Joes would you like to see coming up for, and I was like, the version 2. No lie, 7 hours from me like doing it, I seen this picture here. I was gonna put it on SOAPBOX last week, but I was like, you know, let me just hold it in the cut, because I hit Ferry up a lot. I'm like, yo, man, you're reading my mind. I didn't want to seem like I was riding the surfboard a little too hard. So I was like, you know, let me hold up. But I knew I was going to put it up. But later on, a couple of days after I seen the V2 version, I seen the chocolatey Storm Shadow. And I was like, you know what? Let me put these 2 guys up together, man. So Ferry, man, Ferry is dope, man. And you can tell he's having fun doing what he do. Appreciate you, Ferry. Also, about a week ago, I seen this cool Crimson Guard guy. He has them kind of set up on the risers here, and he has 4, 8, 12, 16, 19, 20. Look like he has 22, 23 Crimson Guards, and they look really good. Like I said, when you start army building like that, it's all about the presentation of them. You really don't have to put them in a dynamic pose, because they're the dynamic pose within themselves, seeing so many troops like that. And this guy's name is John McNewman. I'm pretty sure he's came from G.I. Joe Classified Elite or Uncensored. Both groups are kind of one and the same, man, but good looking photo, man, so kudos to him. All right, on this photo right here is a guy named Eric Brink. Like I said, he's either coming from G.I. Joe Classified Elite or Uncensored, but he has Tiger Force Recondo sitting with Tiger Force Outback at a bar, and it's just a nice subtle photo. It's really not too much going on with it, but I like photos like this. I think Boog from ACBA, man, is the god at doing that. That subtle photo with not too much movement, but it just captures so much because of the scenery and just I don't know, it's something about that. I love it. I actually kind of love these photos more than action photos, and I kind of get caught up that myself, trying to always do too many action poses when I need to focus more on like nice subtle photos, the essence of photography. But don't get it twisted, I do like when I can come across the action pose, I want to capture that. But what I found out is when you try to force an action pose when you're doing photography, that's when your shit can kind of start looking like little janky and shit, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm learning, man. And kudos to this guy right here. His name's Eric Brink with this this nice photo of Outback and Recondo in a bar. Also, I think this came from Valorverse because it has a Valorverse guy. I'm pretty sure, and it's Commando Delta, a Delta Commando with a Kit Bash head, and he has his hand on Falcone's shoulders, and he says, "Don't worry, pal. We can get you some new gear. Can't help you with that face, though." And I thought that was a pretty cool photo. And actually, this photo is like 2 or 3 weeks old. I just finally got it up here, man. But man, shout out to everybody. Did I get that guy's name? Robbie Griffin did that from Legion of Valorverse. But shout out to everybody, man, who's out there doing photography. Shout out to everybody who's cultivating in the toy collecting community, just happy. Sometimes I know I don't have a smile all the time on my face up here, but you naturally generally see me laughing up here, having a good time, because that's what it's all about. So shout out to the toy collecting community in general. All right, so now we have our hot topic for the week, and with my hot topics, I noticed that they come either a day before I'm about to do this or maybe a couple days before, because a lot of my hot topics is pretty much what I'm dealing with throughout the week, just with the action figure collecting in general on my behalf. So it always gives me something, whether I'm communicating on my Facebook groups or I'm communicating on YouTube. I'm always coming up with some type of material, so I don't think I will ever really run out of a hot topic. Some might be stronger, some might be weaker than the others, but we will always have a hot topic, especially to talk about in the action figure community. And also, just a side note, I want to get back over to my other table and get the black screen behind me, because I really like that look. But man, I got so much stuff going on, and I'm just blessed. Just thank God I got a toy room big enough to where I can just switch around in different spots guys. Really, I'm just really getting in where I fit in. But this is cool too, right here too. It's like I'm almost like in like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood and shit. He's like sitting inside his little town talking to you guys. But this is cool, man. And like I said, thank God I got a toy room big enough, man. This is roughly like I think it's like a 20 by 20 room I'm in downstairs in my basement, man, where I can just get busy and do my thing. But just had to put that little side note there. But the hot topic, let's get into that this week, is QC issues. And like I said, I usually come across stuff that I've dealt with throughout the week. And this week, I already got it in the can. I have the Valaverse girls, the 3 girls, Eclipse, Kill Switch, Pandora, and I also threw Zarana in there as a feature because I just hadn't opened her up yet and I wanted to see what she was about. Now, ironically, I don't even know where Eclipse Head at, but Eclipse Head snapped completely off on me doing that review. And just to go ahead and throw it out there, if anybody who sees that review says that was staged or anything like that, you can go screw yourself, because I don't have time to stage thing for likes, or I'm not even gonna put that in the title when I put it up, a QC issue. If you rocking with me, you'll see what happened. But her head felt kind of brittle. Eclipse comes with a like hijab wrapped head or a scarf wrapped head, like over in the Middle East that you put on, but that head felt kind of funny going on, so I was trying to put it on, and that felt kind of funny, and I got it on and I got it off. It really didn't even go on all the way. But I put back on her regular head, and I had her on the side. I was actually shooting Zarana, and I was like, you know what, let me put the hooded head on Eclipse, so I'm probably gonna have her up next doing something. And when I went to go pop the head off, the ball came off completely inside Eclipse head, and she just has a stalk like she's been cut completely by a samurai. All right. Now, last week, I had some issues with CoverGirl, which everybody was been talking about, is just how loose she is. And when you go to bend her arm like this, you know, this part completely come off, with it's true. Nobody was lying about that. The great thing about it, when I got done with the review for the Valaverse girls, I was gonna say which would I rather have, tight joints or legs and arms, or loose. And I was gonna say I'd rather go with tight, because this loose is just not getting it. But tight, you be scared you're gonna break it. The whole entire time I was dealing with Eclipse, I was scared I was gonna break her legs, because her legs were so stiff. They've loosened up a little bit, but they were stiff. And of course I heated them up. I don't, this room is room control like the rest of the house. And like I said, I just know to heat my fingers up. This thing just snapped. Now, have I ever heard everybody talking about a head snapping off Eclipse? No, but I have heard a lot of people talking about brittle plastic and Valaverse things snapping, and it finally happened to me. Now with CoverGirl, everybody's talking about the same figure with the same thing, the arm coming off completely, but it does plug back in. It's not snapped off, it'll go back in, but that's unacceptable if it just comes off it. You're not supposed to be able to do that. And just, she was really gappy to me in her hip areas, and she was just really thin. You know, she just really wasn't a well put together figure. So I do admit that there was some QC issues with that all across the board. And like I say, even though people haven't said exactly that they were having problems with Eclipse, they've had problems with Valaverse in general, as far as QC issues, as far as the brittle plastic. And now I'm gonna put it like this. Now, will QC issues ever end with toys? No. No. Anything that's mass produced and manufactured, I don't care, even down to a car. Now, let's not get it confused. I know when I make comparisons, you might not be able to get into the depth of what I'm talking about, because a car is, it has much more testing on it for safety, because that's something that you use to travel, and a lot more goes more into a car, of course, than an action figure. But still, all in all, cars have recalls. They have, you know, setbacks, even if it's just a one-off thing. I believe this is a one-off thing with this Eclipse snapping, with the head snapping completely off. But it's not a one-off thing with Valaverse. I've actually heard a lot that they've had brittle plastic, and their figures break. I've been hearing that for years, ever since they came out. I have a Condor myself that his legs never has been unseized. I've heated this man up several times. Now, where I find myself with Valaverse on the side note is, as far as main character wise, I'm not even really doing that no more. Cool thing about Valaverse is I can buy a regular woman Delta Trooper and kind of switch this out, you know, kind of just do their plain soldier thing. And that's what I pretty much, moving forward with Valaverse, what I'll do. Just the mismatch of security enforcement, Delta, Commando Troopers, things of that nature. And those are the only figures that that move like butter, that I've never had a problem with. Never had a problem seizing up, breaking. You can pop them loose any way you want to. And pretty much do your thing. Now I will say all across the board, because I have over probably like 2,000 action figures in this loose in this room, and my God, you don't want to see what's in my garage. But from NECA, I can tell you, I had a Predator, Jungle. No, it's the Predator who gave him the flintlock, Danny Glover, the flintlock pistol at the end, the green Predator that they made. I had a problem with him when I snapped his arm completely off, so they've had QC problems. Who else have I dealt with? Of course, I've had QC problems with G.I. Joe, now Valorverse, Marvel Legends, just with figures breaking, Magic. Like when she came out back in 2017, I snapped her arm completely in half because it was just seized up. Who else? Oh, MAFEX. I even had a QC issue with my Gambit MAFEX. Those figures are sometimes a little too delicate. He has a clear prong on one of his hands to hold his throwing cards, and that just broke off just easily, just from simply the weight, like it was just simply glued on. So as far as QC issues with action figures, they'll never end. Will I say not to complain about them? No, by all means, do your thing, voice your opinion. But I'm just letting you know that we're going to be dealing with these things as long as something is mass produced forever. They I don't know what's going on with Bobby Val and their thing, but they do need to get that correct. You know, make all the troops should be able to move like those Delta troopers and the other troopers. Like all three of those girls' legs were seized up. Pandora, Kill Switch, and Eclipse. They all legs were seized up. I had to take a blow dryer to all of them several times. They are loosening up, but I don't know, man. Like I said, I just take this thing for what it is. Now, somebody kept screwing up on QC problems, and guess what? I'm just not going to buy your product no more. I speak with my wallet. I don't argue back and forth on what people should do or anything like that. I just speak with my wallet because at the end of the day, this is my collection.
All right, let's get into the toy news for the week. Basically, man, I pulled the trigger on the MAFEX Nightwing. This figure is beautiful. I think it's a sleeper figure, just because it's so plain. But he looks good, and I just chomping at the bit and can't wait to get this guy in my hand so I can pose him up. Who wouldn't want a MAFEX, a Nightwing that you can pose up like Spider-Man, and MAFEX is going to give that to you. And then his accessories is not a lot, but anybody who collects Marvel Legends wish they got a baton with the bendy wire in it. You wish you could get something like that. And then plus, look at how dynamic this guy is. I mean, I'm pretty sure you can do anything you want with him. Also, D Amazing did a video on him already. Check it out. You know he's gonna put that body to the test, and he did. Also, Lexington is up from Big Bad Toy Store, and also Entertainment Earth. But if you want to complete that Gargoyles team, he's up. I think he's due out in August. Also, I seen this helmet, Magneto helmet, kind of like a role play, cosplay type thing. $100. It looks like it will be out sometime in September, but I'm definitely copping this. This looks really cool. I really enjoyed my Snake Eyes helmet. You actually seen it in the thumbnail here, and I'm definitely going to enjoy this. So no clearance this week. I didn't really find nothing too interesting, so we'll be back at it next week. But this is the Savage Land. We do this for the love and beauty of action figures. You can give me a like, comment, subscribe, and until the next time, God bless.